Saturday night here at the Valley View Meadows Racetrack for day number 3 of the Poundmaker Cree Nation CPCA stop. This is our second stop on the CPCA Pro Tour following our opening weekend in Dewberry last weekend. We've had a great 2 days of running here tonight, and tonight is a special night. Tonight is the night we find out who is the 2026 Poundmaker Show champion with the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association, and we also find out tonight which 3 drivers will line up tomorrow afternoon in the Dash for Cash. You got to be in the top 3 after the 3-day aggregate times are available, and those 3 will line up in the 7th and final heat tomorrow afternoon. Great to have you along tonight. I'm Jason Lee. I'm out here from Saskatoon to call the races for you once again tonight. The CPCA Pro Tour would like to thank some great corporate sponsors for bringing this Chuck Wagon Tour to your community once again this year. We thank our friends at Sure Shot Wireline. Safe, efficient, reliable, and honest. Meridian Source, your community news. NES Furcroft, world-leading workforce solutions. Dakota Dunes Resort, stay, golf, and relax. Book your getaway now. And 7th Gen Productions, giving youth and community members of the Onion Lake Cree Nation a place to learn, create, and be heard. If you have a company and want to be along for the ride for the remainder of the CPCA season, it's still early. Check out our website, cpcaracing.com, for marketing and contact information. CPCA Souvenir Trailer is open in behind the grandstand. Do some shopping. Take home a souvenir from the racetrack. If you're a bit chilled tonight, then we have some chore jackets over there for you to warm up in, or we have a selection of women's jackets, Sherpa-lined vests, as well as some long-sleeve T-shirts, some hoodies, and a whole lot more. To bring out the CPCA fan in you, that'll be open throughout the course of the evening. I want to thank our friends at Northern Livestock Sales. They are the sponsors of our jerseys for the 2026 race season. You will see the jerseys on our drivers and outriders coming up on the track in just a few minutes. Thanks again to Northern Livestock Sales. If you can't make it to the track at any point this season, the wagon races are streamed live on Facebook nightly. Follow the CPCA on all of our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, of course, the production courtesy of 7th Gen Productions on our Facebook page. We want to thank our show sponsors for bringing us here to your community, including the Poundmaker Cree Nation and Poundmaker Gravel. Want to take a moment to thank my sponsor, Provincial Vodka. They have a product smooth like no other vodka. And from the makers of Provincial Vodka, Crush It Hard Iced Tea. Here to fuel your summer. Bold, refreshing, all natural, and built for people who go all in on what they love. Do what you love, drink what you love. Crush It is available now at your favorite liquor store. The CPCA Finals will run for 5 days. Note the new location this year. The Finals move up to Onion Lake after about 30 years in the border city of Lloydminster. The new location for the Finals is Onion Lake. We're going to be running there August 12th through 17th. So plan now to be there to witness the crowning of the 2026 Canadian Chuck Wagon champion. Top 6 in the CPCA driver standings will compete in semifinals Saturday, August 16th, and the 3 fastest wagons from those top 6 will line up for the Canadian Championship Dash on Sunday afternoon, August 17th. All right, the barrels are set, ladies and gentlemen. Let's introduce you to our barrel sponsors here tonight. Barrel number 1, sponsored by Apex Distribution, a distributor of industrial and oil field products and services to oil and gas producers, mining, forestry, food processing, and more. Apex Distribution on the number 1 barrel. 2 barrel tonight, sponsored by Telcon, a telecommunications business proudly serving the Lakeland for over 23 years. They specialize in business office phone systems, two-way radio communications, data line communications, cell phone boosters, GPS, fleet management, and business sound solution. Telcon on our number 2 barrel tonight, and the number 3 barrel sponsored by Iron Jet. Turn your logo into something people can see, touch, And remember, outfit your team with custom printed shirts and embroidered hats, or elevate your space with acrylic signs, wall vinyl, and storefront signage. From waterproof stickers to vehicle decals and more, Iron Jet is on the number 3 barrel tonight. All right, friends, if you're able, I ask you to, we're going to rise momentarily, but right now I ask you to remove your hat and bow your head for the Chuck Wagon prayer. Heavenly Father, here we are again today, risking our lives for very little pay. But it's the life we choose and the life we shall live, and Lord, we don't ask for anyone to give. But we just want to thank you for the many trouble-free miles we travel each year, up and down the highways and dusty old roads, knowing that you are near. Now, we ain't always been straight or taken a religious stand, but when we crawl upon the seat of that wagon and look back at our family, there's someone we truly believe in, and you're the man. And when we turn those barrels and she lifts up on 2, I sometimes hear a little voice saying, "Don't worry, son, because I'm in here too." Now, in the past, you've taken a few drivers and a few outriders, even the odd child or two. But really, Lord, no one has ever really blamed you. So we don't ask that you take us to heaven or never run in stormy weather. But when it's all over and you gather us into your mighty kingdom come, would you please keep us all together? Amen. Well, friends, if you're able, please rise for the playing of O Canada. Oh, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Who's ready for a great Saturday night here on the Poundmaker Cree Nation? It is going to be good. We've had 2 different day money runners so far. Danny Ringette on Thursday night with a 115 and 34. Colby Stanley with a day money last night at a 114 and 98. However, the man that leads the 2-day aggregate is a different driver. That's Brad McMahon with a 231 and 19. The guy to beat right now, joining Brad in the dash for cash at this point, Danny Ringette and Dallas Dick. We'll see how it all plays out here on a Saturday night. Get ready for the CPCA. stride for stride, but now Danny pulls ahead along the rail by a horse length as they set up for the backstretch run. That duel on the front end is a good one. Two guys that have competed a number of times in the Rangeland Derby and the Calgary Stampede, fighting for that finish line with every stride. You make a little noise for the boys in the equine athletes down the home stretch stride. To the wire it's going to be.
Horn cuts the air.
track by now. We had a bit of a delay in the backstretch. See, we don't have any traffic lights back there, and the tractor is waiting for the wagon to come onto the track, and the wagon was waiting for the tractor to get off the track. And that's what we were all doing, is waiting for that tractor to get off the track, because we can't send horses with a tractor sitting along the rail in the backstretch. So, bit of confusion in the backstretch there, but we got Darwin's wagon on the move, and we got the tractor off the racetrack. So now we are sending the wagons in for heat number 1. Again, appreciate your patience, a few minute delay, but let's hope that's the only one here tonight. Joining us for the first time this weekend, we have Indian Relay Racing coming your way after the 7th and final heat. So after heat 7, we will have running times from 6 and 7. Top 5 of the night, top 5 of a 3-day aggregate. Remember, that top 3 will be going into tomorrow's Dash for Cash, and the number 1 driver after 3 days is the Poundmaker Show champion. Then we're going to do a redraw for tomorrow afternoon. We're hoping what weather is in the forecast stays away. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that that changes. It doesn't look good now, the weather for tomorrow, but we're hoping it changes and we get the Dash for Cash day we're hoping to have here on the Poundmaker Green Nation. But again, after those running times tonight, then 3 heats from what I understand of Indian Relay. So sit tight and get ready. Heat number 1 as the Thunder makes its way onto the track now. Off the Iron Jet number 3 barrel, you're looking at Roland Baptiste with a Red Pheasant gas and confectionery outfit. That's a Centex station just off Territorial Drive in North Battleford. Top up your tank and get stocked up with drinks and snacks and lotto and blankets and dog treats and a whole lot more. Red Pheasant gas and confectionery. Roland Baptiste on 3. The Telcon 2-barrel, Darwin Casocchio driving for Stick Racing. Cheer on Stick Racing and the extreme sport of Indian Relay Racing coming up later tonight, and if the weather cooperates, again tomorrow afternoon. Darwin Casocchio, Stick Racing on 2. The 1-barrel, the Apex Distribution 1-barrel will sit empty. We don't have a couple of drivers with us that we were hoping to. Chris later start to the season. He'll join us in Onion Lake in a couple of weeks. That's when the Turn and Burn Welding outfit will be back on tour. Robbie Ethier, a few bumps in the road getting his season going as well. I believe the E-Team's going to join us for the second half in Batoche following the Calgary Stampede. Your outriders for Roland Baptiste and the Red Pheasant gas and confectionery outfit, Darwin Ward and Jory Bronkin. And your outriders for Darwin Casocchio, Stick Racing, that's Quinn Langevin and Lane Hewitt. Lane wants to thank Neck Care, Dr. Ansel Updegrove, Boreal Builders of Turtle Lake, JWT Hats, and Wrangler Well Servicing. Lane Hewitt's outriding sponsors on the 26 Pro Tour. We ask for your silence prior to the horn. We'll ask for that now. Heat number 1. There's the horn, and Saturday night is off and running on the Poundmaker Cree Nation here on the Valley View Meadows racetrack as we turn and get them pointed. Yeah, nice turn, Darwin, on the bottom of that. 2nd barrel, and Stick Racing will get out there from the 2-barrel and own the rail position with Roland Baptiste. Right there comes from a long line of Baptiste Chuck Wagon Racing. The great Edgar Baptiste and Todd and Ryan continue to run to this day. And look at Roland carrying the family name around that 2nd corner. That Red Pheasant gas and confectionery outfit putting the pressure on Stick Racing. But it is the hometown cowboy, Darwin Casocchio, along the rail, leading by a half a length as they enter that 3rd corner. And now Roland fading away just a little bit. The outriders look in pretty good shape. Couple of red-shirted ones. We got a black-shirted outrider belonging to Roland Baptiste that's got to giddy up to catch the front of the pack. And now Stick Racing pulls ahead. Hey, look at the speed, setting up for the home stretch drive. That is Darwin Casocchio, your hometown cowboy, a former rookie driver of the year. Stick Racing is going to get it done tonight across the line by 2.5, bettering Roland Baptiste in the Red Pheasant Cree Nation Gas Bar outfit, heat number 1. Now your running times from Heat 1 are going to come up after Heat number 2, and the running times from Heat 2 follow Heat 3. That's how it's going to go throughout the night. And then, like I mentioned earlier, after Heat 7, running times from 6 and 7, top 5 of the day, top 5 of a 3-day aggregate. The defending show champion, Brad McMahon, 1 year ago, he won this show. And right now, coming into this third day in Poundmaker, Brad McMahon leads the 2-day aggregate. He also won the Dash for Cash here last year as well. Track record was set right here in 2023 by Lightning Luke Tournier. Track record is a 1:13.06. Thursday's day money was Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping. Rapid time of 1:15.34. Last night's day money run came from the Cobra, Colby Stanley with the Mitchell's family, a 1:14.98. The fastest this track has been lapped in the first 2 days of professional chuck wagon racing was that of Colby Stanley, 1:14.98. We want to thank Sure Shot Wireline for bringing us the fast time of the night. When the running times become available, we will keep you up to speed with the Sure Shot Wireline fast time. And we thank our show sponsors, Poundmaker Gravel and the Poundmaker Cree Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, from Red Pheasant, Saskatchewan, this is Mr. Roland Baptiste. Red Pheasant Gas and Confectionery, second-year driver with the CPCA. He raced with us in 2024, took last year off to go drive ponies, back on tour with us here in 2026. He has won multiple pony chuck wagon championships. Roland Baptiste, Red Pheasant Gas and Confectionery. Well, the CPCA would like to thank some more corporate sponsors for their support here on the 2026 Pro Tour, like Read and Write Advertising. More than just signs. Assure occupational health testing, all in one place. Great Western Brewing, the highest quality beers in Western Canada, brewed with dedication and heart. Battery Boss, be the boss of the road or job site. And Lamley's Western Wear, live your own West. For a full list of sponsors, go to cpcaracing.com. It's these companies that are key contributors to the growth of the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association. All right, we're going to bring Darwin back around. Your chance to send him on back to the barn, and we'll line up heat number 2 for you right away. We're going to send him in here shortly with Garth Sanderson, Brian Mann, and Leslie Memnook next to race for you in heat number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, your hometown cowboy. He was our top rookie driver back in 2024, now in his 3rd season on tour. This is Darwin Casocchio driving for Stick Racing. He used to sponsor the sport, and the love grew too strong to just be a sponsor. He wanted to be inside the wagon box, and here he is driving for you guys here on his hometown track. Darwin Casocchio and Stick Racing. Watch for Stick Racing tonight during Indian Relay. Always a fast team. See what happens tonight with the action on the Indian Relay track here later on. All right, as mentioned, we're going to bring in Leslie Memnook here for you, Brian Mahan, and the Sandman Garth Sanderson for you. While they roll in front of you, let's have a quick look at the Leckie and Associate Chartered Accountants driver standings. Tie for first to this point in the season. Brad McMahon and Danny Ringette tied for first and second with 205 points. Just 1 point behind those two drivers. At 204 points, we find Dale Young. Calvin Fiddler is fourth with 180. Colby Stanley is the number 5 driver with 174. And one behind him in sixth is Josh Herenick with 173. Keep in mind, you want to be in the top 6 at the finals on the Friday night, after Friday night when the dust settles. You want to be in the top 6 to have a shot at the Canadian title. Those are the top 6 right now. Just on the outside looking in, Chris Flanagan 7th, Kyle McKay 8th, Rocky Bremner is 9th, Dallas Dick rounds out the top 10 in the Leckie and Associate Chartered Accountants driver standings to this point in the 2026 race season. Again, we're only a show and a half in. We raced for 3 days last weekend in Dewberry, Alberta, and the 2 days so far here on the Poundmaker Cree Nation. So we enjoyed night number 3. Thanks for making it out to the track to be with us and cheer on your favorite wagon drivers and sponsors. And look at those great equine athletes, both on the wagon and the outriding horses as well. On that Iron Jet number 3 barrel, Leslie Memnook with Mule Enterprises. They're located in St. Paul, Alberta. See Mule for aggregate, heavy equipment, and trucking. Call Marcel, 780-645-0873. Following tomorrow, we're going to be headed towards that St. Paul, Alberta direction with the next stop beginning Tuesday night in Saddle Lake, Alberta, just west of St. Paul. On the Telcon 2-barrel, Brian May and Maidstone Merchants, including AG Foods, your local grocery store with a full bakery, meat, produce, dairy, deli, and a full line of groceries. Elliott Insurance, your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs. Insure your ride, renew your plates, and grab a case of beer for the weekend. And Coranda Industrial Supply, serving the agricultural, automotive, industrial, and oil field services. Brian Mahan, all with the Maidstone Merchants on 2. Apex Distribution 1-barrel. Garth Sanderson and the Chakastay Passin Band of the Cree Nation. Hoping one day soon to reach a settlement with the Canadian government that would pave the way for their reestablishment as a distinct and recognized band. Located in Treaty 6 territory with headquarters on the James Smith Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, Garth Sanderson is on 1. CPCA Outriders for Leslie Memnook and Mule Enterprises, Darwin Ward and Trey Delver. Outriding for Brian Mann and the Maidstone Merchants, Logan Pethick and Lane Hewitt. And your Outriders for Garth Sanderson, the Chakastay Passin Band of the Cree Nation, Mitch Weber and Quinn Langevin. Quinn wants to thank his outriding sponsors, KC Mechanical and Bob's Auctions. So we bring them on in and pull them up to a stop. The Sandman, last to load with a nice team of grays on 1. Silence for the horn, heat number 2. There's the horn. Stoves are in, and a hard charge to the top. Look at that team of grays, and the outriding horses also grays for Garth Sanderson and the Chakastay Passin Band of the Cree Nation. Now that's a team effort right there. We got one of Garth's outriders. Horse got away on him a little bit, but the Mule Enterprises outfit, that is Leslie Mumnook, is flying off of that number 3 barrel, and he tries to steal the rail. Man, is he in an awful hurry here tonight as he leaves the rest behind. The Thunder dances around that second corner, and look at Leslie Memnook. He stole the rail away from Garth Sanderson and the Maidstone Merchants of Brian Mann. Now look at Brian flying to the outside of the Sandman. Garth Sanderson, the Maidstone Merchants taking over second spot as the Sandman eats up a little dust into that third corner, but they're all right there bunched up. This is anybody's game. If those grays can pull out some late race speed, hey, he's got a chance. Garth Sanderson running third. Brian Mann moves to the outside of the front runner. Mule Enterprises trying to pull him home down the home stretch drive. Leslie Memnook on the inside. Brian Mann flies by him, and the Maidstone Merchants to win it by a half a length. Leslie Memnook second, and Garth Sanderson a close third. That's heat number 2. Well, that was a well-driven heat right there. Let's go back to your running times from heat number 1. 2 wagons in the heat. Second goes to Roland Baptiste with the Red Pheasant Gas and Confectionery wagon. 124 and 26 plus 1 for the stove off ground or barrel off ground. And one more for a late outrider. Time for Roland Baptiste is 126 and 26. 126, 26. And the winner from Heat 1, Darwin Casocchio, driving for Stick Racing, a 120 and 80, penalty free for Darwin Casocchio, 120.80. So with those times in, we're going to keep you up to speed on the Sure Shot Wireline Fast Time. And right now, the day money run is a 120 and 80. The time to beat, 120.80. I want to thank our show sponsors once again here in Poundmaker, and they include Poundmaker Gravel and the Poundmaker Cremation. We got you those Lucky and Associate Chartered Accountants driver standings. It is tight at the top. We're going to get you some Outrider standings and more coming up in just a little bit. Make sure to follow along on CPCARacing.com for the latest results and standings, and of course, the show schedule. We're going to go to Saddle Lake, Alberta, and race for 3 days this coming Tuesday through Thursday, and then a day off on Friday for travel. Then we're going to be back next Saturday, 1 week from today, in Onion Lake. Got 2 stops in Onion Lake. One is a tour stop. The other is the CPCA Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, we call him the Sandman from the James Smith Cree Nation. Garth Sanderson, the Chakastay Passin Band of the Cree Nation. He had a top 10 run in Dewberry last weekend. Top 10 run back on Thursday night here in Poundmaker. Garth is sitting 15th in the Canadian standings. From High River, Alberta, this is Flying Brian Mann with the Maidstone Merchants, and he was flying tonight. He competed in the WPCA at the Calgary Stampede, and now I believe it's his 3rd year with the CPCA. Brian is 14th in the Poundmaker aggregate. And from Goodfish Lake, Alberta, this is Leslie Memnook with Mule Enterprises. Now his 5th year on tour. Couple of top 15 runs in Dewberry last weekend, and a solid run by Leslie Memnook here tonight on night 3. Well, the CPCA would like to thank a few more corporate sponsors for their support here on the 2026 Pro Tour. We thank Jensen Silver, custom silver and gold designed to fit your lifestyle. Hoof and Nail Farrier Supplies, Northern Factory Workwear, rugged work and footwear. Eye Expressions in Lloydminster. See what 2020 can do for you. And Iron Jet corporate signs, vinyl decals, and custom apparel. For a full list of sponsors, go to cpcaracing.com. I'd like to thank my sponsor as well, Cowtown and Saskatoon, for dressing me up here to be in Poundmaker this weekend. And I got to tell you, that's a great store. They're basically 3 superstores in one. They are your one-stop shop for boots, clothing, accessories. They got saddles and tack, and now Hey Dudes. They are your Wrangler flagship store. Stop in and visit the friendly staff for all your Western needs, plus animal health and pet supplies. Whether it's the Chuck Wagon track, in town, out of town, it's got to be Cowtown. Next time you're in Saskatoon, find him at 3366 Fairlight Drive. The Harrows are out for a few minutes. Chance to grab a bite to eat or a cold drink and do some shopping at the CPCA souvenir trailer. Speaking of which, if you happen to be at the racetrack last night to watch the action and you were shopping at the CPCA souvenir trailer, a little red plaid blanket was left behind. So if you were missing that from last night at the races, that little red plaid blanket is over there at the CPCA souvenir trailer for you. But again, we got some great stuff. Do some shopping, take home a souvenir from the racetrack. We'll be back in just a few minutes with heat number 3 that will include Randall Stanley. The 2 barrel's going to sit empty tonight, and DJ DeSuter coming up right after this Harrow Timeout. On the Apex Distribution 1 barrel, that's Colby Stanley, the Mitchellus family. And your outriders for Colby Stanley, the Mitchellus family, Tegan LaRouche and Trey Delver. And that sets up heat number 5. Last to load on the 1 barrel, the reigning and defending Canadian champion, Colby Stanley, the Cobra. Silence for the horn, heat number 5. There's the horn and a quick start on 2 for Josh Reddick, and he is going to turn and burn, but Colby's going to beat him out off the number 1 barrel. Rocky's going to get there too, a little speed. He's going to trail, but watch the speed for that Polar Oils outfit running from 3rd. The leader is the reigning and defending Canadian Chuck Wagon champion. That is the Cobra from the Onion Lake Cree Nation and Meadow Lake. That is Colby Stanley with the Mitchell's family outfit exiting 2 and sending them full tilt down the backstretch, leading by a length and 3/4. Carmen's Big Wave Foods. Josh Hrenek right there with him, keeping him within reach to send him home down the home stretch. But right now the battle into that 3rd corner is Colby Stanley in front by a length and a half. Josh Hrenek right behind him and eating up a little bit of dust from 3rd place. That is Rocky Bremner about 2.5 behind Josh Hrenek. There's the Outriders looking good as we send them home wide open down the home stretch drive in Poundmaker Cree Nation. Your chance to bring them home. Colby Stanley off the 1 barrel is going to go wire to wire. Mitchell's family is going to win this one by a length and a 1/4 over Carmen's Big Wave Foods. That's Josh Hrenek with a speedy run last night. Quick again tonight, and then 3rd across the line, that being Polar Oils and Rocky Bremner. Let's go to your running times from heat number 4. In 3rd place, Roger Moore, Poundmaker Cree Nation. 1:17.92 plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Roger Moore, 1:18.92. 1:18.92. Second, Kyle McKay, the OCL group with a 1:16.40. plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Kyle McKay, 1:17.40, 1:17.40. The winner of Heat 4, Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors Limited, with a 1:15.26, plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for the Green Machine, Dallas Dick, 1:16.26, 1:16.26. Your CPCA running times from Heat number 4. And with those times in, still the leader on the day from Heat 3, Randall Stanley, Unity Motor Products. So far the quickest, 1:16.09 to own the Sure Shot Wireline fast time right now, unofficially. Phil Arcand, Chris Flanagan, and Calvin Fiddler are going to line up in this next heat, in heat number 6. Again, a reminder, we're going to be back on track with 7 more heats for you tomorrow night beginning at 6:30, following the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association. 3 heats, from what I understand, of Indian Relay Racing. Again, the fastest driver over 3 days in the aggregate will be crowned show champion. We'll crown that champion. We'll know who that champion is after tomorrow night, and then the Dash for Cash on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, from Dewberry, Alberta, after 7 seasons with the WPCA, he joins the Canadian Tour in 26. Here's Josh Hrenek, Carmen's Big Wave Foods. 4th quickest last night, that wagon right there. Josh comes into the night tonight, the number 5 driver in the CPCA driver standings. And another nice run off that 2 barrel for Josh and that Carmen's Big Wave Foods outfit. Josh was a former outrider in the CPCA, and then when he decided to take up the lines and driving, he went over to the WPCA, and glad to have him back on the Canadian Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, the defending Canadian champion, you're looking at the Cobra, Colby Stanley from Meadow Lake, the Mitchell's family on the wagon tarp.
Northern
He had a
Alberta
top
and
5
Saskatchewan
run in
since
Dewberry
'79.
They're located in Cold Lake. They also do mud jacking, form work, and have a placing and finishing division. Superior Concrete Pumping, Danny Ringette. Apex Distribution, 1 barrel, Dale Young, Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors. Both organizations utilize ambassador programs to champion community engagement, philanthropy, and fan experiences. Dale Young is on 1 at 6:30. Silence for the final heat here tonight. The horn sounds and the sun comes out on this 7th heat from behind the cloud and shining down in a great heat 7. Look at the Dale Young outfit turn and out of town. The flame is running hot with Dale Young, the Calgary Flames, and Stampeders Ambassadors. The Dewberry Show champion leading along the rail by a half a length, running 2 wide is Brad McMahon and the Prairie Pines Butcher Shop. He's back by a horse length, and looking back behind is Danny Ringette. That is Superior Concrete Pumping. Now, Danny Ringette has got some superior speed. He's going to wait his turn. He is the day money runner from last night and a former Canadian champion. He knows how to do this. He's going to follow the leaders and wait for a lane to open up on the home stretch. But right now he watches the 2 in front of him duel it out for the lead. The rail runner is Dale Young with the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors. Right there with them, Brad McMahon and the Prairie Pines Butcher Shop as they turn for home. And Danny works to the outside with Superior Concrete Pumping, stride for stride, a wall of wagons to the line, and Dale Young's going to get him by a nose from my angle, just ahead of Brad McMahon, and Danny is right into the mix, 3 across the line, and an exciting way to wrap up heat number 7 and night number 2 here in Valley View Meadows Racetrack of the Poundmaker Green Nation. Now let's go to your running times from heat number 6. In third place, Phil Arcand with Arcand Construction, 118 and 46 plus 2 for wagon interference on an outrider in the infield. Time for Phil Arcand tonight, 120 and 46, 120.46. Second, Chris Flanagan, Sure Shot Wire Line with a 116 and 40 plus 1 for a late outrider. Chris Flanagan finishes the night with a 117 and 40, 117.40. The winner of heat number 6, Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction Limited, with a 115 and 59, penalty free for Calvin Fiddler, 115.59. Your CPCA running times from heat number 6. Stand by, friends. We are going to get you. Toronto specializes in general freight trucking, truck transportation, construction, and more. Toronto, along for the ride with Calvin Fiddler on 1. You're set up. Silence for the horn as we pull them up to a stop. Heat number 6. The horn sounds, the stoves go in. It's time to turn and burn in heat number 6. Nice turn on the top for Calvin Fiddler, Team 21. The figure 8, and out of town they go. Chris Flanagan to his outside. Phil Arcand a little late coming out with the Arcand Construction outfit. He's going to trail the leaders by about 4 lengths as the Thunder dances into that second corner. Toronto Trucking is carrying the freight. Team 21, Calvin Fiddler, a length and a quarter lead over Chris Flanagan and his Sure Shot Wireline outfit as they go wide open down the backstretch run, and they send them. Calvin Fiddler running hot, but watch out for that lightning bolt. The late speed of Chris Flanagan. Sure Shot Wireline now. Chris Flanagan closes some ground. He's back by a length. Phil Arcand working from the backside in a bit of a cloud of dust with Arcand Construction. He's still a few lengths off the pace. Tough to catch the speedy customers in front of him as they turn 4 and send them home. They're coming in hot down the home stretch drive. Calvin Fiddler is going to go wire to wire after a nice turn on the one barrel. Toronto Trucking wins it by a length. Chris Flanagan a close second. Sure Shot, and Phil Arcand will settle for third with Arcand Construction in heat number 6. All right, we're going to get you now the running times. We're going to go back to heat number 5. In third place, we have Rocky Bremner, Polar Royals, 116 and 92, plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Rocky Bremner, 117 and 92, 117.92. Second is Josh Hrenik with Carmen's Big Wave Foods, 115 and 95. Plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Josh Hrenik, 116 and 95, 116.95. And the winner of heat number 3, how about this run for Colby Stanley and the Mitchell's family? 114 and 98, penalty free for Colby Stanley, the Cobra. He strikes again with a 1:14.98. Your CPCA running times from heat number 5. And with that, we got a new Sure Shot Wireline fast time, 1:14.98 for Colby Stanley. He bested the run from Danny Ringette's day money run last night. That's how fast that run from Colby Stanley was here tonight. So, we're going to keep an eye on that time with one more heat to go and running times from 2 more heats coming your way. Northern Alberta and Saskatchewan since 79. They're located in Cold Lake. They also do mudjacking, form work, and have a placing and finishing division. Superior Concrete Pumping, Danny Ringette. Apex Distribution, One Barrel, Dale Young, Calgary Stampeders, and Flames Ambassadors. Both organizations utilize ambassador programs to champion community engagement, philanthropy, and fan experiences. Dale Young is on 1. Your Outriders for Brad McMahon, Prairie Pine Butcher Shop. That is Quinn Langevin and Lane Hewitt. Heat 1 at 6:30. Silence for the final heat here tonight. The horn sounds and the sun comes out on this 7th heat from behind the cloud and shining down in a great heat 7. Look at the Dale Young outfit turn and out of town. The flame is running hot with Dale Young, the Calgary Flames and Stampeders ambassadors. The Dewberry Show champion leading along the rail by a half a length, running 2 wide is Brad McMahon in the Prairie Pines Butcher Shop. He's back by a horse length, and looking back behind is Danny Ringette. That is Superior Concrete Pumping. Now, Danny Ringette has got some superior speed. He's going to wait his turn. He is the day money runner from last night and a former Canadian champion. He knows how to do this. He's going to follow the leaders and wait for a lane to open up on the home stretch. But right now, he watches the 2 in front of him duel it out for the lead. The rail runner is Dale Young with the Calgary Stampeders and Flames ambassadors. Right there with them, Brad McMahon and the Prairie Pines Butcher Shop as they turn for home. And Danny works to the outside with Superior Concrete Pumping, stride for stride, a wall of wagons to the line, and Dale Young's going to get him by a nose from my angle, just ahead of Brad McMahon, and Danny is right into the mix. And it is time to go with heat number 3. We're going to see 2 wagons. That Telcon 2-barrel is going to sit empty in the heat number 3 here this evening. The Iron Jet 3-barrel has Randall Stanley driving for Unity Motor Products, your go-to local area source for new and pre-owned Chevrolet, Buick, and GM vehicles. Get pre-approved, receive service, order parts, find him on Main Street in Unity, or online at unitymotors.com. Along for the ride with Randall Stanley on 3. Apex Distribution 1-barrel is DJ DeSuter for J. DeSuter Oilfield Consulting and Poundmaker. J. DeSuter Oilfield Consulting, they're out of Grand Prairie, Alberta. Longtime supporters of professional chuck wagon racing with DJ DeSuter on 1. Your Outriders for Randall Stanley, Unity Motor Products, Lane Hewitt, and Logan Pethick. Logan would like to thank Sound Dogs in Meadow Lake, his outriding sponsor. Again this summer, they've been longtime sponsors of him as a CPCA outrider. And your Outriders for DJ DeSuter, J. DeSuter Oilfield Consulting and Poundmaker. That's Tegan LaRouche and Jory Bronken. That sets up heat number 3. As they pull them on in, we pull them up to a stop. Silence for concentration, communication, and safety on the racetrack. Once the horn sounds, make as much noise as you like. There's the horn, and heat number 3 is off and running. It's time to turn and burn. Let's go. It looks good by both of these cowboys. Look at these drivers. Skin that bottom barrel and send them. And it's Randall Stanley off the 3 barrel running 2 wide with that Unity Motor Products. That's what you call some Chevrolet horsepower. Run to the outside. Randall Stanley's got the lead by a horse length, but tucked in right along that rail. That is the Wildcat DJ DeSuter for J. DeSuter Oil Field Consulting and Poundmaker, and that's how they set up down the backstretch. These 2 lead teams going nose to nose and stride for stride. DJ's along the rail, and it's Randall Stanley to the outside. How well matched are these 2 wagon outfits as they throw some dust into that 3rd corner? DJ's got the short distance around the track. That's the rail position. DJ DeSuter, J. DeSuter Oil Field Consulting and Poundmaker. But look at Randall Stanley work to his outside, and Unity Motor Products with that Chevrolet horsepower down the home stretch drive with every stride working towards the line. It's going to be Randall Stanley by a neck at the line. What a great race. DJ DeSuter a close second in heat number 3. Here are your CPCA running times now from heat number 2. 3rd place goes to Garth Sanderson, the Chaska State Passing Band of the Cree Nation. 119 and 25 plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Garth Sanderson, 120 and 25. 120.25. 2nd goes to Leslie Memnook Mule Enterprises, a 117 and 96. And 1 second for the wagon being ahead of the barrel, I believe is the penalty, in a 118 and 96. Wagon ahead of the barrel when the horn sounded. Yep, too far forward. 118.96 is where Leslie's going to finish tonight. And the winner from Heat 2, Brian Mahan, the Maidstone Merchants, with a 117 and 48 plus 1 for wagon interference in the infield. Time for Brian Mahan, 118 and 48, 118.48. Your CPCA running times from Heat 2. And we got a new Sure Shot Wireline fast time. That is Flying Brian Mahan of the Maidstone Merchants. The new time to beat, 118 and 48. 118.48. We'll keep an eye on that running time. Well, friends, if you make enough noise, he can hear you now. He's all the way from Grand Prairie, Alberta. We call him the Wildcat. He played junior football for the Edmonton Wildcats. This is DJ DeSuter, driving for J. DeSuter Oilfield Consulting and Poundmaker. He was our 2025 Most Improved Driver. He comes into the night tonight sitting 13th in the Poundmaker aggregate. DJ DeSuter, and a great run alongside Randall Stanley in heat number 3 here tonight. Well, friends, he's from Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. He's now a 7th-year driver with the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association. Say hello to Randall Stanley in Unity Motor Products. That outfit in front of you was 6th quickest last night. Randall comes into the night tonight sitting 12th in the driver's standings, and a nice run off the 3-barrel 2 wide. Well done, Randall. Nice heat here tonight in heat number 3. Now, we turn to heat number 4. We're going to load the barrels up once again. All 3 barrels will be loaded up with a rookie, Kyle McKay, alongside the wily veteran, the lean, mean racing machine, the Green Machine will be in this one, and 007 Roger Moore, who he returns from the WPCA after a number of years over in the World Tour. As the Outriders ride in, let's have a look at your Battery Boss Outrider standing. Sitting 5th in the Outrider pen is Trey Delver with 639 points. 4th is Tegan LaRouche, 702.5. Lane Hewitt is the number 3 Outrider, 953 points. 2nd in the Outrider standings, Quinn Langevin, 1,083.5 points. And the number 1 Outrider to this point in the season, Logan Pethick, 1,140.5 points. And those are your Battery Boss Outrider standings here. All right, we're a bit of a delay. We're getting the wagons down the lane. You got some Outriders in here ready to go. Those are Kyle McKay's Outriders. The rest shall follow, and now the wagons are coming down the lane. All right. Now, we talked about it earlier. You got to be in the top 3 after tonight to have a shot at the Dash for Cash tomorrow. And the number 1 driver after 3 days is crowned the show champion. This is how the top 5 look right now. Colby Stanley and the Mitchell's family is 5th on the weekend with a 2:32 and 94. Sitting 4th, just outside of that all-important top 3 for a dash spot, is Dale Young with the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassador wagon, 2:32 and 65. Sitting 3rd is Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors, with a 2:32 and 58. So you know this is a big race tonight for Dallas here in this 4th heat to stay in that top 3, but he's got a shot at the show title as well. Danny Ringette is sitting 2nd in the aggregate with Superior Concrete Pumping, 2:31 and 34. And the number 1 driver in the aggregate, Brad McMahon, Prairie Pine Butcher Shop, with a 2:31 and 19. Both Brad and Danny will be here in your 7th and final heat here tonight. This right here is heat number 4. Again, we have Indian Relay. If you joined us late, Indian Relay will be coming your way after our 7th and final heat, and your running times as well. We got a few heats of Indian Relay. I was told 3, but then sounds like there might be more entries than what I heard. So should be in for a great night of action when the dust settles from the CPCA. Iron Jet 3-Barrel has Kyle McKay with the OCL Group. Trust their experts to help you build, maintain, and grow groundbreaking solutions that help you process and deliver quality petrochemical products to the masses. Doing the job done right with the OCL Group. Kyle McKay's on 3. Telcon 2-Barrel, Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors, serving the oil field, lease construction, and civil earthworks industries throughout Alberta and Saskatchewan for nearly 40 years. Delivering a product beyond expectation on every project. Find them at precisioncontractors.com. Dallas Dick on 2, Apex Distribution 1-Barrel, Roger Moore, Poundmaker, Cree Nation. Welcome to Treaty 6 territory with 007 Roger Moore. Your CPCA Outriders for Kyle McKay and the OCL Group, Quinn Langevin and Trey Delver. Outriding for Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors Limited, Logan Pethick and Lane Hewitt. And your Outriders for Roger Moore and the Poundmaker Cree Nation, Tegan LaRouche and Jory Bronkin. And that sets up heat number 4 for you tonight. It is race time. There's one of our rookies on tour. He's not running like a rookie, I'll tell you that much. He comes into the driver's standings in 8th spot. You got to be in the top 6 for a shot at the Canadian Championship by mid-August. He's in a good position. Dallas Dick loads on 2, Roger Moore on 1. Silence for the horn, heat 4. There's the horn, and the teams punch into that top barrel as we turn and get going. Some of our drivers have their hands full, but that's why they call them the best in the game right there. Dallas Dick, the Green Machine, and Precision Contractors going to steal the rail away from 007 Roger Moore. Dallas Dick leads by a length and a quarter into that second corner. Back from Roger Moore in 3rd spot is the rookie driver, OCL Group, and Kyle McKay. Kyle trails by about 2.5 lengths of that Roger Moore outfit, but as they turn down the backstretch run, Dallas Dick is turning it up a few notches. He is the number 3 driver in the aggregate. He wants the show title. He wants the belt buckle. He wants to be in the Dash for Cash. The lean green racing machine, Dallas Dick and Precision Contractors by a length and a half over Roger Moore and the Poundmaker Cree Nation, and back another 2.5 to find Kyle McKay in the OCL Group. We'll see what Roger's got left for the home stretch drive. He's got the lead team putting the pressure on the stove rack of Dallas Dick and Precision Contractors. He's not going to catch him. Dallas wins by a length and a half. Roger Moore 2nd, and Kyle McKay, a nice race, but finishes 3rd with the OCL Group in heat number 4. Now your running times from heat number 3. There were 2 wagons in this heat. In second spot, DJ DeSuter driving for Poundmaker and J. DeSuter Oilfield Consulting Services, 116 and 25. +1 for a late outrider for DJ. He will finish with a 117 and 25 tonight, 117.25. The winner of Heat 3, Randall Stanley, Unity Motor Products, 116 and 12. Penalty free for Randall Stanley, 116.12. Your CPCA running times from Heat 3, and with those times in, our new Sure Shot Wireline fast time is Randall Stanley and Unity Motor Products with a 116 and 12. 116.12. Harrows are going to be out for a few more minutes. A chance to grab a souvenir at the CPCA souvenir trailer in behind the grandstand. It's stocked with brand new race gear for the 2026 race season. Chore jackets, women's jackets. They have sweatpants. They have hats and youth sizes as well. Souvenir booth. It's open for business right in behind the grandstand. We thank Battery Boss. They are sponsoring our Outrider of the Year award, the top outrider at the end of the season. The one outrider that accumulates the most points throughout the 2026 race season will receive a Hunter X8 electric bike. Right now, the number 1 outrider is Logan Pethick. That can change as the summer moves. Be at the track to find out. Outrider of the Year, sponsored by our friends at Battery Boss. And again, thank you to Poundmaker Gravel and the Poundmaker Cree Nation for being our show sponsors here this weekend. Again, crossing our fingers that the forecast changes for tomorrow. Right now, it's calling for some rain and a good amount of it. That's why we're not putting water on the track tonight. Yeah, as fans, you're going to have to eat a little bit of dust, but it's for the betterment of tomorrow. That's why we're not putting water on the racetrack. We got it on hand, but I don't think we want it. Ladies and gentlemen, from Loon Lake, Saskatchewan, 007, this is Roger Moore and the Poundmaker Cree Nation. There's a man who has won 4 WPCA show titles, including a big win at the Ponoka Stampede. Roger Moore was 12th quickest last night. Behind him from Dewberry, Alberta, he is the Green Machine. This is Dallas Dick for Precision Contractors. Dallas will be making his 8th appearance at the Calgary Stampede Rangeland Derby next month. He was 3rd quickest on Thursday night and currently 3rd in the Poundmaker aggregate. And behind him, one of our rookie drivers from Radway, Alberta, a little bit northeast of Edmonton. You're looking at Kyle McKay in the OCL group. 18 years of driving ponies, made the jump to the big wagon. Kyle McKay has been mentored by the likes of Evan Solomon and Wade Solomon. He comes into the night tonight 8th in the Canadian standings. That's pretty good for a rookie driver. Like I said earlier, Kyle McKay definitely not driving like a rookie driver. It's one thing to drive pony wagons, and he does have a lot of experience, but the big wagons are a different animal. Looks like he's got his outfit well under control. We're going to bring out the heroes as mentioned. Heat number 5, we'll have Josh Horinek, last night's Day Money runner, Colby Stanley, and Rocky Bremner coming up shortly.
And all the angels up in heaven started singing all its
McMahon's on 2, and off the Apex Distribution 1 barrel, Danny Ringett, Superior Concrete Pumping, providing concrete pumping throughout northern Alberta and Saskatchewan since 1979. They're out of Cold Lake. They also do mud jacking, form work, and have a placing and finishing division as well. That is Superior Concrete Pumping, Danny Ringett on 1. Your Outriders for Dale Young, Calgary Stampede. There's the horn. The stoves are loaded, and our seventh and final heat tonight is off and running quick on all three right across the infield. Danny Ringette looks good on one. Brad's going to beat him out off two with the Prairie Pines Butcher Shop outfit. We'll see if he can get the rail, and Brad McMahon's going to steal it away from Danny Ringette and his Superior Concrete Pumping outfit running second. He's got his lead team right on that stove rack of Brad McMahon trailing third. Our show champion from last weekend in Dewberry driving for the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors. That is Dale Young as they stretch him out down the Poundmaker backstretch. The leader is Brad McMahon with 3 Dash for Cash wins last summer, including one right here. He won the show championship a year ago, and he wants more of the same. The Prairie Pines Butcher Shop in the lead by a length with Danny Ringette keeping him right there where he wants him. Superior Concrete Pumping, and Dale Young's got a lot of speed. Watch out, the Flames will be hot down the home stretch drive. Here they come. The Stampede is on, but I don't know if they're going to catch him. Brad McMahon, Prairie Pines Butcher Shop is going to get there by a length over Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping, and he bests Dale Young by a length as well. And that is heat number 7. Stand by for your running times. Let's go straight to your running times from heat number 6. In third place, Phil Arcand Construction, 117 and 41. We know he picked up 10 because the wagon missed a barrel. And he got 2 more for 2 late outriders and 2 more for wagon interference on an outrider in the infield. All right. Time for Phil Arcand tonight is a 131 and 41. 131-41. Second, Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction Limited, 119 and 31. Plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Calvin Fiddler, 120 and 31. 120-31. And the winner of Heat 6, Chris Flanagan, Sure Shot Wireline with a 117-19 plus 2 for 2 late outriders. Time for Chris Flanagan, 119-19 tonight. 119-19. Your CPCA running times from heat number 6. We'll have running times from 7 for you shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, how about it for our hard-working outriders? You're looking at the best of the game. Some of them ride. Both organizations utilize ambassador programs to champion community engagement, philanthropy, and fan experiences. Dale Young for the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors. Telcon 2-barrel, Brad McMahon, Prairie Pines Butcher Shop, a full-service butcher shop located between Lloydminster and North Battleford on Highway 40 east of Neilburg, offering custom cutting and wrapping, custom meat orders. They process wild game and keep their retail counter stocked, and they're keeping us stocked with some great ranch beef jerky up here tonight. Thank you to Prairie Pines Butcher Shop. Brad McMahon's on 2, and off the Apex Distribution 1-barrel, Danny Ringette. There's the horn. The stoves are loaded, and our 7th and final heat tonight is off and running quick on all three right across the infield. Danny Ringette looks good on one. Brad's going to beat him out off 2 with the Prairie Pines Butcher Shop outfit. We'll see if he can get the rail, and Brad McMahon's going to steal it away from Danny Ringette and his Superior Concrete Pumping outfit running second. He's got his lead team right on that stove rack of Brad McMahon trailing third. Our show champion from last weekend in Dewberry driving for the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors. That is Dale Young as they stretch him out down the Poundmaker backstretch. The leader is Brad McMahon with 3 Dash for Cash wins last summer, including one right here. He won the show. Your CPCA outriders for Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors Limited, Trey Delver and Logan Pethick. Outriding for Roger Moore, Poundmaker Cree Nation, Tegan LaRouche and Jory Bronken. And your outriders for Kyle McKay and the OCL group, Gage Renton and Quinn Langevin. Quinn would like to thank KC Mechanical and Bob's Auctions, his outriding sponsors here on the 2026 Pro Tour. Now we're going to get this race going. Dallas taking a 3, 007 on to 2, and the young gun Kyle McKay will be last to load on 1. Silence for the horn. You're set up for heat number 4. Pick 'em quick. There's the horn and heat number 4. This is a quick start. Looks good on 3 with the green machine. Look at Kyle McKay on the number 1 barrel. That OCL group with a nice turn and a nice burn. Kick up a little dust and off we go with Kyle McKay in the OCL group in charge. Dallas Dick right in behind, about a length and a half. And Roger Moore is having some equipment troubles. He's trying to slow up the team here just to get him stopped. We're going to have a 2-wagon race down the backstretch. Look at him drag down the backstretch with Kyle McKay running the rail. Dallas Dick on the outside. Precision Contractors giving him everything he can handle in the green machine. Moves to the outside into that 3rd corner. Outriders are looking good. They're right with their wagon. No trouble on the outrider spot, but the green machine leads by a horse length. 2 wide. Kyle McKay tucked in along the rail. He's got a quick outfit. That OCL group outfit is fast and he's on the rail. Does he have enough to catch the green machine as Dallas Dick opens him up down the Poundmaker home stretch drive? Dallas pulls ahead. He's going to win this one by a length over Kyle McKay and the OCL group. And that is heat number 4. In trouble for Roger Moore. Just coming out of the barreling area. He's got him stopped. And from Dewberry, Alberta, the green machine. This is Dallas Dick with Precision Contractors, our 2025 Cold Lake Show champion. He's headed to the Calgary Stampede Rangeland Derby to compete next month. Nice run by both Kyle McKay and Dallas Dick here on night number 1 of a 4-day show. We're back at 6:30 again tomorrow night, 6:30 again Saturday night, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Well, we're going to clear the track and herald the track. We'll be back with heat number 5. Colby Stanley, the defending Canadian champion, alongside Rocky Bremner and Josh Hrenek when we come back at you. might be a little different conditions by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. We'll see what the weather has in store. We got a great heat in store for you here, heat number 5 on that Iron Jet 3 barrel. That's Josh Herenick, Carmen's Big Wave Foods at a Crossfield, offering a convenient shopping experience with a wide selection of groceries in a friendly small town setting. Carmen's Big Wave Foods, Josh Herenick on 3, Telcon 2 barrel, Colby Stanley, and the Mitchell's family. The Big Plume, McGinnis, and Wells families are from the Treaty 7 territory. Mitchell's family from Treaty 6 area. Tarps designed for sports, indigenous culture, higher education, and family unity. Mitchell's family with the Cobra, Colby Stanley on 2. Apex Distribution 1 barrel, Rocky Bremner, Polar Oils, an indigenous-owned fuel supplier here in Saskatchewan, providing bulk fuel delivery, propane, lubricants, and fuel storage solutions. Polar Oils, Rocky Bremner on the 1 barrel. Your outriders for Josh Herenick, Carmen's Big Wave Foods, Logan Pethick, and Jory Bronkin. Outriding for Colby Stanley, the Mitchell's family, Tegan LaRouche, and Trey Delver. And your outriders for Rocky Bremner, Polar Oils, Quinn Langevin, and Mitch Weber. And you are set up for heat number 5. And they work their way into the barrels. They're going to set up and stop. And we ask for your silence, please, for the horn in heat number 5. There's the horn, and the wheel team hit so hard for Colby it put him off the seat, but he got control, and look at him. I mean, this outfit pops. He got the day money last night. He is the reigning and defending Canadian Chuck Wagon champion in that orange and black. The Cobra on the rail, Colby Stanley and the Mitchell's family. They own the lead by a half a length with Josh Herenick. Carmen's Big Wave Foods battling to the outside, and back from Josh about 2.5 lengths. That's the Polar Oils outfit and the rock star Rocky Bremner as they work down the backstretch. What we've seen from Rocky here in Poundmaker is a lot of late race speed. If you're counting Rocky out, you're counting him wrong, because look at him reel in the leaders right now. He's got that lead team right in behind Josh Herenick with Carmen's Big Wave Foods, but the leader is the man with the plan, the engine on that train. The day money runner from last night, Colby Stanley, and the Mitchell's family turning 4. Here comes the wagons down the home stretch drive. Josh Herenick sets him free. Coming in hot down the home stretch as he reels him in. Can he pass him? Not enough racetrack. Colby Stanley's going to win this one by a horse length over Josh Herenick. Polar Oils, Rocky Bremner, he finished 3rd, but he sure closed some ground by the time they got to the wire, and that is heat number 5. All right, here are your running times now from heat number 4. 3rd place, Kyle McKay in the OCL group with a 1:18.69. Penalty free for Kyle McKay, 1:18.69. 2nd, Roger Moore and the Poundmaker Cree Nation with a 1:16.68. +1 for a late outrider. Time for Roger Moore tonight, 1:17.68, 1:17.68. And the winner of Heat 4, Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors Limited, with a 1:15.45. Penalty free for the Green Machine. Dallas Dick, 1:15.45. Those are your CPCA running times from heat number 4. And with those running times in, we have a new Sure Shot Wireline Fast Time. That now belongs to Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors. The pace setter so far tonight is a 1:15.45. 1:15.45. That's one of the fastest laps of the weekend, probably in the top 5 or close to it anyway. So that was a rapid run for Dallas, but man, we have a lot of quick wagons yet to come. I don't know if you caught it, but I'm sure the 7th Gen Productions crew caught it when the horn sounded. That team started so hard for Colby Stanley on that 2-barrel, it popped him right off the seat. Good thing he's a great driver. I mean, you got to be a great driver to be a Canadian champion, and that he is. And he had him under control. He'll tell you that all day long. All right, they're bringing him back in. Before we get to heat number 6, we're going to line up Chris Flanagan, Calvin Fiddler, and Phil Arcand in this next heat. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the defending Canadian champion and day money last night. This is the Cobra, Colby Stanley for the Mitchellwis family. And another nice run for that Colby Stanley wagon today. And hey, happy birthday to Jackson. Jackson is 7 years old today. That is Colby and Justine's little boy, one of the boys. Happy birthday to Jackson from all of us here at the CPCA and, of course, your family. Behind him from Dewberry, Alberta, this is Josh Harinik for Carmen's Big Wave Foods. WPCA top rookie driver back in 2018. He was 6th quickest last night. Comes into the night tonight 6th fastest in the 2-day aggregate. And we got one more rolling your way before we bring on this 6th heat of 7. Indian Relay coming up. Following heat number 7 and some running times. This man calls Glassland, Saskatchewan home. He is the rock star. Put your hands together for Rocky Bremner with Polar Oils. Last weekend, he had a top 5 in Dewberry, Alberta. And here on Thursday night, he had the 6th fastest wagon on this Poundmaker track. Rocky Bremner and Polar Oils, and that is heat number 5. Again, the day money from Thursday night was Danny Ringette. As we talk about Dallas Dick's fast time at a 1:15 and 45, let's compare it to the first 2 nights. Danny Ringette had the day money on Thursday night, Superior Concrete Pumping with a 1:15 and 34. And then Colby Stanley had the day money last night, the Mitchellwis family tarp, with a 1:14 and 98. Those have been the 2 day money runs, so we will see how Dallas's time holds up throughout the remainder of the evening. And if you happen to be new to the sport, the way we work the draw is the later we go into the evening, the higher up in the CPCA standings we go, which means our final heat will be the top 3 drivers coming in to the weekend following our opening weekend in Dewberry, Alberta. So that's how the draw works, and then they rotate their barrel positions. If they had the 1 barrel on Thursday night, they move to the 2 on Friday night, and then the 3 tonight, for example. So they get the entire barrel rotation. And then Dash Day. Tomorrow's a Dash for Cash. We just do a barrel redraw, and that's going to be some great action provided we don't get too much rain. So here's hoping it stays away. There's your first look at Chris Flanagan. Sure shot wire line with that green lightning bolt on the side of that wagon box. Now, this Calvin Fiddler wagon, you've seen this wagon already. Roland Baptiste was driving it in heat number 1. This is, in fact, Calvin's wagon. He's lending another driver his wagon to use. So Team 21 has his wagon. That is a different team of thoroughbred horses and a different sponsor with Toronto. And then Phil Arcand, he is another one of our rookies. We talked about Kyle McKay earlier on. Phil Arcand is another one of our rookies here on the CPCA Pro Tour. And there's a man who, in Dewberry last weekend, he was in the first heat. 1 weekend later, he's running in heat number 6, the second last heat. That tells you how fast that cowboy has been driving and running. Heat number 6, off the Iron Jet 3-barrel, Chris Flanagan for Sure Shot Wireline. Safe, efficient, reliable, and honest. They're out of Bonnyville. Sure Shot puts customer service at the forefront while delivering state-of-the-art wireline services throughout Western Canada. Chris Flanagan, Sure Shot on 3. Telcon 2-barrel, Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction. They're out of Warman near Saskatoon. Toronto specializes in general freight trucking, truck transportation, construction, and more. Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction on 2. And the Apex Distribution 1-barrel, Phil Arcand with Arcand Construction. Your CPCA running times from... never mind the running times. We'll get there later. Your Outriders, that's what I'm trying to say. For Chris Flanagan and Sure Shot Wireline, that's Logan Pethick, and you're looking at Tegan LaRouche. Outriding for Calvin Fiddler, your Calvin Fiddler Job Development Outriders. for Toronto Trucking is Quinn Langevin and Lane Hewitt. And your outriders for Phil Arcand Construction, Darwin Ward, and Mitch Weber. And that'll set you up for heat number 6. Silence for the horn. We are set to go. There's the horn and a nice start. It's time to turn and burn. Hey, that's looking good right across. Get him around. No, Phil Arcand's got to cut his losses. He was going to go for the bottom barrel and thought about taking it, and he's going to have to miss it, unfortunately. Tough go for the Arcand Construction outfit. You know what happens when you run into penalty trouble in the infield? You got to make it up with speed around the wagon track. Phil Arcand runs the rail and leads by a half a length with Calvin Fiddler to his outside, Toronto Trucking and Construction. And now look at moving to the inside. Chris Flanagan's wondering, do I go outside? Do I follow, or do I get in behind Phil Arcand along the rail? Right now he's all dressed up with nowhere to go. That Sure Shot wire line outfit eating up a little bit of dust, but we know Flanny's got some speed in that Flanagan bar, and we're going to watch Sure Shot as we send him down the home stretch. But right now, working into that fourth corner, Phil Arcand Construction, still a leader on the racetrack by about a horse length. Here comes the birthday boy, Calvin Fiddler, down the home stretch drive. What a birthday gift if he could win this race here tonight. Look at that lead team pulling stride for stride. Phil Arcand nosed him, and Calvin Fiddler second. Chris Flanagan, Sure Shot wire line, across the line third in heat number 6. Looks like Calvin finished second in the heat. From my eye, of course, 10 seconds for missing a barrel, so he will end up winning that heat. Unless, of course, the judges saw something I don't see, which can happen on a regular occasion. All right, let's go to your running times from heat number 5. In third place, that'll be Colby Stanley with the Mitchewis family. First across the line at a 1:15 and 36. However, 2 seconds for two late outriders. Total time for Colby Stanley tonight, he'll finish with a 1:17 and 36. 1:17.36. Second, Josh Hrenek, Carmen's Big Wave Foods, 1:15 and 64, plus 1 for a late outrider. Time for Josh Hrenek, 1:16 and 64. 1:16.64. And the winner of Heat 5, Rocky Bremner, Polar Oils, with a 1:16 and 58, penalty free for the rock star, Rocky Bremner, 1:16.58. Your CPCA running times from heat number 5. Yeah, always give a hand for the outriders. One more to go, fellas. Go back and get a break. The CPCA would like to thank some more corporate sponsors for their support here on the 2026 Pro Tour. It takes a lot of sponsors to get this tour on the road and to here in Poundmaker this weekend, including Relay Distributing, Rely on Relay, L&A Chartered Professional Accountants, Lloydminster. Grow your business with us. First Nation Insurance Services, start with better benefits. Ophelia James Medical Aesthetic, naturally refined, confidently you. And Northern Livestock Sales, find them online at northernlivestocksales.ca. For a full list of sponsors, go to cpcaracing.com. It's these companies that are committed to sustaining the sport of professional chuck wagon racing in our Western heritage, and we ask you, the great wagon fans, to support the companies that support this great sport we all love so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's from the Alexander First Nation in Alberta, northwest of Edmonton. He's come a long way to race for you. This is Phil Arcand and Arcand Construction. Fourth quickest back on Sunday afternoon in Dewberry of last weekend. Phil is currently 11th in the Canadian Chuck Wagon standings. Team 21 is out of Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. Say happy birthday to Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction. Great run on your birthday, Calvin. Nicely done. He was finished fourth in the Dewberry aggregate last weekend. The number 4 driver in the CPCA. And from Bonnyville, Alberta, Two-time Rangeland Derby competitor at the Calgary Stampede, Chris Flanagan, sure shot wire line. He is a 12-year driver. After many years as a CPCA outrider, Chris comes in 7th in the CPCA driver standings, only 2.5 points outside of a top 6 position, and it's somewhere inside the top 6. It's where you want to be, because we saw Colby Stanley get into the top 6 on the final day of the season last year by just a half a point. That got him into semifinal Saturday, and his running time on semifinal Saturday was fast enough to be in the top 3 to go for the championship dash, and his run on championship Sunday was the run to win it all. So it doesn't matter how you get there, but you got to be in the top 6 prior to semifinal Saturday. Harrows are out one more time. Do some shopping at the CPCA souvenir trailer. We have hoodies and sweatpants and hats and youth sizes, jackets, and a whole lot more to bring out the wagon fan in you. Take home a souvenir from the racetrack tonight, and we're back tomorrow night. I want to thank my friends at Provincial Vodka for helping me down the wagon trail as a Chuck Wagon announcer. I really appreciate Paul and the crew over there at Provincial Vodka, and they have a product smooth like no other vodka. Trust me, once you try it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And from the makers of Provincial Vodka, Crush It Hard Iced Tea. Keep it simple, an easy summer drink that is refreshingly delicious. Do what you love, drink it what you love. Crush It is available now at your favorite liquor store. One more heat coming your way after this Harrow timeout with the big 3, Danny Ringette, Dale Young, and Brad McMahon. And then we're going to have running times. And then, still to come tonight, we have some heats of Indian Relay, the extreme sport, on the way. We'll be back with Heat 7 in just a few minutes.
There's trees in what we
Go then. Jump on Kevin.
Get him!
Dad, we're bringing Kevin on the trail.
No, we're not.
Kirk said he'll feed
Right
him.
there, Case. Right there, Case.
Come here, Kevin. Oh, he's getting mad. Look, he's getting mad.
Look
Meet-
at Kirk's animal. He wants to bring it on the
Meet
trail.
Kevin. Hi, Kevin. He's a chicken dancer. Watch. Careful now, not together. Back. Take your time. Come on. Come on, fight. Come on, Rooster, get off the way. Ducksies. Hey? Okay.
They're leaving.
What?
You guys should have rode your horse. Oh, these two go. This one's gonna try to fit him in the back. Here.
What are we on? How many horses?
We're on after
Power. So we're on 9. Withers.
after Withers.
Bandit and Harbor.
Yeah,
Or Bandit.
Bandit.
Chisel.
Yeah, those guys.
Stop, remember. Also, I think there's one
This was the CPCA Right Wheeler of the Year. With my baby. He gets a little intimidating sometimes.
Hawk, babes, and lightning.
Yeah. That's his partner. Hey, let's go.
Well, Kirk's fault.
Usually, how long does it take to get everything set up?
Well, the barns and everything usually takes about 2 hours, I'd say. We have 2 new barn hands, so they're just learning how to do everything, right? So it'll take a little longer today, but yeah, usually a couple hours before everything's all settled. And then you start unpacking everything and feeding and whatnot, so it could be a 12-hour day, moving day, right? And especially from here, so now from here we gotta pack this up, go down the road to Poundmaker and then set it up. So that's an even longer day, right? So all this setup tables here for race day. With all my necessities, this is just all my storage. This is how we travel, but I'll set this all up. This will be my tack room when I'm done. The wagon goes here, it ends about here, and the quad comes here. And then 14 head of horses. And we have everything in the belly for the barns. All the feed and watering stuff and the fencing stuff goes in there. 6 horses in there and then all our stuff up top. Oh, this
He's on the wagon track, and then Indian Relay coming your way. Let's set it up for you. Off of that Iron Jet 3-barrel, Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping. Providing concrete pumping throughout northern Alberta and Saskatchewan. They've been doing it since 1979. They're out of Cold Lake, Alberta. They also do mud jacking, formwork, and a placing and finishing division, and carpenters on staff. Superior Concrete Pumping, Danny Ringette on 3. Telcon 2-barrel, that's Dale Young with the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors. Both organizations utilize ambassador programs to champion community engagement, philanthropy, and fan experiences. With the Calgary Stampeders and Flames, Dale Young's on 2, and Apex Distribution 1-barrel, Brad McMahon, Prairie Pines Butcher Shop, a full-service butcher shop located between Lloydminster and North Battleford on Highway 40, just east of Neilburg, offering custom cutting and wrapping, custom meat orders. They process wild game, and they keep the retail counter stocked over there at Prairie Pines Butcher Shop. Brad McMahon, we've been enjoying some of those beer sticks and beef jerky here this weekend. Thanks so much for the snacks. Outriding for Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping, Logan Pethick, and Tegan LaRouche. Your outriders for Dale Young with the Calgary Stampeders and Flames Ambassadors, Jory Bronkin and Mitch Weber. Outriding for Brad McMahon, Prairie Pine Butcher Shop, Quinn Langevin, Lane Hewitt. That sets up heat number 7. Our final heat for you tonight. Silence, please. There's the horn, and there's a lot on the line here in this 7th and final heat here tonight. Watch these 3 drivers turn and burn and send them out of town. And it is Dale Young by a nose, but to his inside along the rail, Brad McMahon, Prairie Pines Butcher Shop, and Danny Ringette is trailing the leaders by about 2 lengths. He's right there in the mix with that Superior Concrete Pumping outfit, but the horsepower pumping on the front end is Brad McMahon as they set him up down the backstretch. He leads by 3/4 of a length with Prairie Pines Butcher Shop, and right there with him to the outside, the Calgary Flames Ambassadors and the Stampeders right there too. It's a stampede into that 3rd corner. Dale Young running second by a length on the outside. Now to his left elbow is the big lead team of Danny Ringette making a move from 3rd and challenging Dale Young for 2nd. Superior Concrete Pumping is looking superior on a Saturday night. He's got to catch Brad McMahon though down the home stretch drive. They are coming in hot to the wire with every stride. Danny's gonna get there. Superior Concrete Pumping by a half a horse length over Brad McMahon and his Prairie Pines Butcher Shop outfit. Dale Young, the Calgary Flames and Stampeders Ambassadors will settle for 3rd. We're going to go now to your running times from heat number 6. Here's how they look. 3rd place, Phil Arcand Construction, 1:15 and 47. Plus 10 for the wagon missing that bottom barrel, and 2 more for 2 late outriders. Time for Phil Arcand tonight, 1:27.47. 1:27.47. 2nd, Chris Flanagan, Sure Shot Wireline with a 1:17.09. Penalty free for Chris Flanagan, 1:17.09. And the winner of Heat 6, Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction Limited with a 1:15 and 56. Penalty free for Calvin Fiddler, 1:15.56. Your CPCA running times from heat number 6. With those times in, with those times in, 1:15 and 56, still the time to beat is from heat number 4, Dallas Stick Precision Contractors. Unofficially, the Sure Shot Wireline fast time belongs to Dallas. Ladies and gentlemen, how about it for your CPCA Outriders? That's Logan Pethick, Tegan LaRouche, Jory Bronkin, Mitch Weber, Lane Hewitt, and Quinn Langevin. Your CPCA Outriders, job well done once again, fellas. Hit the showers, We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, and I can tell you, if we're running tomorrow afternoon, you're going to be a lot dirtier after the races tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Sundre, Alberta, running hot here on the Poundmaker Cree Nation with that Flames and Stampeders Ambassadors wagon. That's Mr. Dale Young, our Dewberry Show champion last weekend. He was second quickest last night, and the number 3 driver in the CPCA, just 1 point behind the 2 drivers in front of him. He's having himself a season right now, Dale Young. CPCA Souvenir Trailer will be open for shopping a few minutes following today's final heat and, of course, your running times. So take home a souvenir from the racetrack, but don't go too far. Indian Relay coming up. And the CPCA Nightcap is provided by Great Western Brewery. Drink of choice with the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association. All the running times we're going to give you here in just a few minutes are all unofficial. Once they become official, results will be posted at cpcaracing.com. And you can also relive tonight's action from the cameras of 7th Gen Productions on our CPCA Facebook page. There you go. 2 more Outriders. We already introduced you guys, but well done again tonight. All right. They just keep coming. Usually they line up and all come across the grandstand together as a team, a band of brothers, but not tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, from Chauvin, Alberta, your defending Poundmaker Show champion and also the Dash for Cash winner here 1 year ago. That's Brad McMahon, Prairie Pines Butcher Shop. He's tied for the number 1 driver in the Canadian standings. He's also number 1 in the 2-day show aggregate. And from Bonnyville, Alberta, the 2023 Canadian Chuck Wagon champion will be going for his 6th appearance at the Rangeland Derby at the Calgary Stampede next month. It's Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping. That outfit had day money here back on Thursday night. He's coming in 2nd in the show aggregate and also tied for 1st in the CPCA standings. That is heat number 7. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have your running times coming up momentarily. We will be with you shortly with those. Indian Relay on track. They're getting ready here right away. But first, we're going to get you the running times. Let's go back to heat number 7. In third place, Dale Young with the Calgary Stampeders in Flames Ambassador wagon. 1:15 and 24 plus 2 for 2 late outriders. And 2 more for outrider interference on a wagon in the infield. 4 seconds added on to the running time for Dale Young. He'll finish the Saturday night with a 1:19 and 24, 1:19.24. Second, Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping with a 1:14 and 48, first across the line, but 1 for second for a late outrider. He'll finish second with a 1:15 and 48, 1:15.48. In the winner of Heat 7, Brad McMahon, Prairie Pine Butcher Shop. 1:14.59 penalty free for Brad McMahon, 1:14.59. Your CPCA running times from heat number 7. Now, let's get you the top 5 on a Saturday night from the Poundmaker Cree Nation. 5th on the night, Randall Stanley, Unity Motor Products with a 1:16 and 12, 1:16.12. 4th tonight, the birthday boy, Calvin Fiddler, Toronto Trucking and Construction Limited with a 1:15 and 56, 1:15.56. Third quickest tonight, Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping with a 1:15 and 48, 1:15.48. Second quickest is Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors Limited with a 1:15 and 45, 1:15.45. And the day money runner, this is the third different day money run in 3 days here in Poundmaker. The fast time tonight, brought to you by Sure Shot Wireline, is Brad McMahon with Prairie Pines Butcher Shop with a 1:14 and 59, 1:14.59. It was Danny Ringette with the day money on night 1, Colby Stanley with the day money on night 2, Brad McMahon with the day money tonight. Now we take the running times from all 3 nights and put them together, and it is the 3-day aggregate time. The number 1 in the 3-day aggregate determines our show champion, and the top 3 in that 3-day aggregate determines our Dash for Cash tomorrow. 5th on the 3-day show here in Poundmaker, Josh Herinick with Carmen's Big Wave Foods with a 3:50 and 13, 3:50.13. 4th, Randall Stanley, Unity Motor Products with a 3:50 and 12, 3:50.12, just on the outside of that top 3. 3rd on the weekend, Dallas Dick, Precision Contractors Limited with a 3:48.03, 3:48.03. Second, Danny Ringette, Superior Concrete Pumping with a 3:46 and 82, 3:46.82. And the number 1 man in the 3-day aggregate, it looks like it was successful, defending his show title from 2025, Brad McMahon and Prairie Pines Butcher Shop with the fastest 3-day total of 3:45 and 78, 3:45.78. Those are your CPCA running times. On behalf of the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association, the Poundmaker Cree Nation, and all the CPCA race personnel, I'm Jason Lee. Thanks for coming out. If the weather cooperates, we're going to be back at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon with the big Dash for Cash, part of 7 heats. But stick around. Indian Relay races are coming right up in just a few minutes.